Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of the Pacific Pokémon Podcast, where we talk about Pokemon with a focus on VGC. In this week's episode, we'll be covering all the details from the Pokemon World Championships. Woo! If you like what we do, help us out by clicking that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, leave a comment if you've got anything you want to say. Helps us out a lot. Anyway, I'm Lindsay, and my Pokemon choice this week is Raging Bolt. I am so here and ready for the cloudy-headed Brontosaurus with an electric-type Sucker Punch.
And I'm Bambi, and my Pokemon choice for this week is Golden Go. And it's not going to care about that Sucker Punch that's electric type one bit, because it's got good bulk on both sides.
Very true. Unless it goes Water Terra. Water Terra Golden Go will care.
I don't think I will ever see Water Terra Golden Go again.
I mean, yeah, it's only great in a matchup against, something like a Heatran per se.
I'm only ever really worried about Specs Terra Steel.
Understandable. The bulky, nasty plot Water Terra Golden Go is kind of on the way out, it feels like, at the moment. You kind of have to go Terra Steel just to get the damage boost, even with the nasty plot bulk sets nowadays. But Pokemon choices aside, this week we had Pokemon World Championships, and man, was it a blast. What a wild stream, right?
Oh man, there was a lot of late nights. I mean, for us on the West Coast, I guess we're like as far as time zones you're gonna get in the West, we're as close as it's gonna get.
I believe we're 18 hours behind them.
And that's about as good as it gets.
So the finals locally for us the streams locally for us started at about 5 p.m. and went until, like 2 to 4 a.m. depending on the
I wasn't
day.
able to see a single one of those streams all the way through.
I did watch the finals stream almost entirely all the way through.
I couldn't stay awake.
I had to ditch for a little while, so I didn't watch TCG, which, I mean, TCG is a great part of the Pokemon company, but it's just not my forte and not something that I have much of an understanding or interest in, so sorry, TCG. But, yeah. Yeah, that was an incredible performance by everybody. Really crazy. Before we go into the events, the winners, and everything, I kind of wanted to discuss some of the controversies that came up during Worlds as well. There were a couple of interesting controversies that popped up during Worlds. I mean, day one, there were huge controversies about hack checks and just players getting disqualified for genned Pokemon that seemed in most ways probably completely illegal, but through some new method, the Pokemon Company was finding information and confirming that they were not obtained completely through in-game methods, and disqualified quite a few players, including quite a few top cut potential players, at least quite a few that are very good players and would have had a great chance to make it.
I mean, at the end of the day, you should be responsible, I think, for getting all of your own Pokemon as best you can. Whenever you open the door to trades, you're opening the door to people giving you things that you have no idea how it was obtained. Even if it says wild caught, you don't even know. It could be a clone Pokemon. Dupes exist. It's kind of hard to, at this point, justify using surprise trades at all.
Outside of potentially using them as like breeding fodder.
It's putting a lot of expectation on the trainer. Like I think about the biggest DQ in my opinion, it was VGC corner.
Brady Smith.
Yeah, getting
Yep.
DQ'd specifically for I think it was a Landorus.
Of
Uh, like the big one that
course.
was the part of the DQ was the Landorus, and another I think another one I can't remember.
Probably an Urshifu, if anything.
Probably.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely unfortunate, and definitely it sucks to be in his scenario. You know, nobody wants to end up there.
he should have just genned this Pokemon himself, and he would have never had this problem.
Maybe. I mean, that's a possibility, but you never know unless it's that's how it happened. So
But yeah, my opinion on genning in general is just if you're gonna do it, do it. There's no difference between your Pokemon and another Pokemon.
either way,
I
this
mean,
is not a debate that we are going to jump into on the podcast. It is definitely unfortunate for all the players who got disqualified, though. And we feel for the poor scenarios and how it could have been potentially handled better with prior communication acknowledging things or something like that. Anyway, shall we dive into the actual events of the tournament?
yeah.
Past the controversy. Briefly, I wanted to go over the Pokemon Go finals, mostly because I did watch the Go final match, and it was a pretty impressive match, all in all. Like, it was very enjoyable to watch. The other reason why I wanted to shout this out is because the same player who won the Go finals, it's Axon, also won the Go Division regionals at Portland here on the
Oh,
West
nice.
Coast,
So
locally.
cool.
I watched him actually win said finals while VGC, I think, was setting up for their finals or something while we were in
Good to
Portland.
know. Good to know there's something that the West Coast is good at.
Yes, we are really good at Pokemon Go here on the West Coast, which honestly actually makes perfect sense. A lot of, at least in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of people are like avid hikers and outdoorsy people and everything. So Pokemon Go actually makes a lot of sense in that, honestly.
I mean, my mom has a level 40 account.
I'm up to level 35 now, so I'm not too far behind there. But on the competitive side of Go, there's always a good bit of luck involved there, but quite a bit of timing, because Axon absolutely dominated the finals with a 3-1 victory in best of 5 over Rubik's Master, who he also beat in the semifinals. So Axon beat Rubik's Master in the semifinals. Rubik's Master came back and won the losers bracket, and then rematched Axon in the grand finals, and once again got handed defeat.
Cool.
An absolutely incredible performance featuring Medicham and Sableye as the protagonists, with his Shadow Alolan Sandslash appearing against Rubik's Altaria to give Axon early pressure in the final match. That led him to his victory. He now has won a regional, an international, and a world championships in the Go Master division.
But I'm not going to pretend I know anything about how he got there, because I know nothing about Pokemon Go battling competitively.
That is
I can tell you how to build a
okay.
core. I can tell you what moves are going to be good with your core against other cores and what you need to have coverage for, but that is it. When it comes to tapping that button, don't expect me to do it.
That's okay. I'm actually getting more and more interested in Go lately, as I've just casually been playing and really enjoying it. I've actually been doing a lot better in battles, and so it's kind of been spurring me to do more of them, which then also means getting better and then doing more. So it's a cycle that is just constantly improving right now. It's quite fun. On the
Nice.
subject of Pokemon Unite, congratulations to Luminosity Gaming, who won their second World Championships now in Pokemon Unite, being the only team to pull off a 2-time World Championships so far. So big time congratulations to them. Not really something that I am actively interested in at the moment, but Night is a fun game in
It's,
the right scenarios.
it's only the second anniversary, so
Yeah. So they won both world championships so far. So like really well done to them. On TCG, I also know extremely little, but Mew VMAX won TCG, and congratulations to Vance Kelly for pulling that off. Yeah, let's do VGC.
the only reason why I think that that we had a winner was because of sleep turns.
I mean, true, Sleep turns. Sleep was huge in the
It
finals.
was, in my opinion, it was so boring. Like I was watching it and I was just like, okay, so we're getting a Mungus for the world's Pokemon.
Possibly,
Great.
honestly. I mean,
It's
very,
the
very
only
possible.
Pokemon that actually won the game. Everything
True.
else just was stopped by a Mungus. A Mungus just shut down every single key piece. There wasn't anything to do other than
Yeah.
just hit A and pray you wake up. Apparently, like for Michael,
Yeah,
it
he brought
ended
a good
out with
team, but
just a
just.
the way it ended out was just with Dragapult being asleep, and it
Mm-hmm.
was pretty quick.
Dragapult and
Um,
Urshifu being asleep,
there
if I
was
remember
no
correctly.
game 3, and I think that kind of goes to show a lot about the matchups here. I mean, it was
True.
just really, really, really one-sided. The fact that one side had Among Us and the other side had Rillaboom, and when you're like one answer
Well, and
to
he didn't
sleep,
bring Rillaboom, if I remember right, into the final match either.
because
So he didn't
you
have
can't
his counter.
bring Rillaboom into a matchup against another Champound usually.
And Pal and Landorus. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't think he had safety goggles on anything either, because he was running the Rocky
Mm-mm.
helmet on Frigiraf too.
Hmm.
And so his team was just unfortunately weak to that Amoonguss, and his opponent was Shohei was able to capitalize on that and very much just pull victory out. Shohei Kimura, congratulations on earning his first World Championships title. He's been a Japan national finalist as well as a World's top cutter previously, but this is his first ever World Championship victory. So congratulations to him. It was a pretty interesting match to watch. At least match one, game one was fairly interesting. Not so Amoonguss dominated, you know. It was
Hmm.
nice. But it did still feel like Shohei had a pretty dominant handle on the first match from the very beginning, and just kind of was able to walk those victories away with him. So kudos to him on bringing just a very consistent team in handling everything that could have come up across the meta and piloting it all the way to the top.
Hmm.
I was
I've
definitely
been seeing his
hoping,
team on ladder every single day,
of course,
every single day since.
even leading up to it, I mean, his team is a very common team. It's not like his team is anything new. It's very top meta, very just main core. It's almost like chalk, you know?
Yeah.
His team is the new version of chalk. Almost.
Yeah. Nothing's quite chalk without Kangaskhan now.
True. And I mean that's because that core pivoted so heavily. It was effectively built around that Mega Kangaskhan, you know.
Yep.
But
And we'll never see it again.
thank goodness for that. Megas led to so many wild scenarios that just
Led to the most pandering in any fan base of all time.
yeah.
It was incredible to have the Pokemon Company come out and just be like, you know what? We are going to do things for your favorites again. Here you go, kids.
but not only for your
And
favorites, only everybody's favorites, and like not much of anything else.
then make it Audino, right? And then we don't talk
True.
about it.
Oh, so true. I forgot about Mega Audino existing in the first place. I guess that's just a favorite for all of the cutesy people. But like they had Mega Gardevoir and Mega Altaria to be actually good
Yeah.
and for the cutesy people.
Give me an
Mega
Altaria
Mawile.
evolution.
Oh my
Give me
gosh.
an or a paradox form, please. That is Fairy Dragon. Please give
Please,
me
Dragon
Fairy
Fairy.
Dragon back. Please give me that back game free. I cannot stress this enough. How amazing it would be for it to specifically be Altaria again, so that way it can Will-O-Wisp and Perish Trap.
I would
Please.
absolutely love to bring Altaria back into a forefront meta with like either a paradox form or a new evolution that's Dragon Fairy. I think the Pokemon totally deserves it in terms of base stat total distribution and everything too. It doesn't really hold its own very well in the meta. But I've also been kind of casually eyeing it a lot lately, considering that a lot of the meta is going very physically dominant, and Altaria is one of the few good Pokemon with access to Cotton Guard. So if they
Yeah.
make it, if they give it an evolution that's Dragon Fairy type, and it still has access to Cotton Guard, there we go. You know? That makes it a very good wall, but also attacker at the same time. It would be cool,
I
definitely.
you would. I think it would be really cool if it turned into a giant fog bird, like it turned into the fairies, the mystic, like the mists of the fairies or something like that.
That would be incredible. Like an
Make it
Enamorus,
like a
but
sort of
also actually better.
make it like a oh gosh, make it
Five
make it like a
Gabbard
bird of
Enamorus.
paradise. I think it would be really cool to make it like a bird of
That
paradise
would be
type of
really
thing.
off. Uh, Enough about Altaria, though. The VGC finals were incredible. I also wanted to bring up a little bit about the seniors finals because if you watched the senior final match, that was incredible. I feel so bad for uh our young trainer who lost because his heat waves did not connect correctly once.
Nope. He
Missed at
ran
least one target
into
every single time.
accuracy problems every time. Yeah.
Insane. He so needed a Diplin on that team. On that subject
Yeah.
as well, I actually am very looking forward to Diplin with Magma Storm Heatran. Magma Storm, Sand Tomb, Diplin, Perish Trap.
I'm really just looking forward to eject button, Diplin.
It's going to be wild. Diplin is going to be a very interesting Pokemon in the meta. It's going to see a lot of use very early on as people really test out all of the various things that it might be able to do. And then we're going to see over time, it settle into probably a very specific single role where it actually
If it
performs
gets like
best.
sub base 80 defenses, it's not going to be viable though
Yeah,
on either
I'm
side.
I'm
There's
hoping
just
that
too good of coverage answers for its typing on either side that it really just needs to be a well-rounded something that can go Terra Water and succeed.
yeah, true. And I mean, what I feel like Diplin is probably going to be is it's probably going to be kind of like a Flapple, but just more speed and maybe special attack based instead of physical based, with a much better ability, obviously. So hopefully Diplin ends up like a high HP, high speed build so that we can actually at least utilize it decently well, instead of having some kind of super squish, super offensive support Pokemon. Because I feel like they're trying to stray away from counter building Pokemon intuitively
I want
nowadays.
something just balanced and well-rounded. I want mythical Pokemon like Mew back into the metagame, just so that way I have something rounded out to build with.
I mean, we do have a
Like
good number of rounded Pokemon, but I definitely get what you mean. None of them
But
are to that
anything
caliber.
under rounded out in 80s isn't
Yeah.
viable right now with the amount of power.
Well, I mean,
Um,
what I mean more is like Pokemon like Ursaluna that are very well rounded on 4 core stats with only the 2 of a specific build, you know, uh
mhm.
being not very good. So it has great stats in every way except for speed and special attack, you know. And Iron Hands is a lot of the same way, where it has really good, well-rounded stats in every way
Mhm.
except for those 2, you know. And so hopefully we will see more of that come from what we're getting with these new Pokemon, potentially. Something where they're very well tuned. Like Roaring Moon, I think, is actually another great example with its absurdly low special attack. And then otherwise, a pretty even base stat total distribution. That thing has over 100 base special defense. And I think it's like 70 or 80 range defense and then like a 90 HP or something like that. It's almost 100 in every stat except one offensive stat that it doesn't need.
Mhm.
So hopefully we get something like that in terms of like a fine-tuned, well-distributed discipline.
And maybe, just maybe, Game Freak, go back and buff something for once.
They haven't done that in a while, yeah. And I kind of understand it. They don't like tweaking pre-existing Pokemon. They'd rather just make a new version of it, like Clodsire. I bet. But there have been a few times where they've done tweaks. I remember they tweaked Raichu to be faster than it originally was,
Mhm.
which gave it a spot in the meta. It gave it something to do in the growing meta and made that Pokemon actually somewhat viable in the right scenario, at least, and stuff like that. So who knows what we'll get from Diplin, at least, considering I think it's probably going to be a base 480 like Flapple and Appleton. I think they're 480 if I remember right. It's not going to have an incredible base stat total. So we'll
No,
see
but if
how
they're
it's
distributed
distributed.
properly, I don't care if this thing does damage.
Exactly.
I don't. I want it to live 2 hits.
As long as they aren't ice type. I don't think we can
Yeah.
expect it to live 2 ice type attacks. But that's a different subject, Without Terra, at least, it can't necessarily live 2 ice type
Yeah.
moves.
I think that that's fair.
But in other
I
news,
just don't want it to be Ice Shard fodder. If it's Ice Shard
yeah,
fodder, we can't use it.
I can understand it taking a large chunk of damage from Ice Shards. Sure, definitely. And maybe, being Ice Shard fodder too, specifically Chen Pao Ice Shard, because Chen Pao also lowers defense. Maybe, you know? But then if it's a max defense, max HP, it's not Ice Shard fodder so much, like you can survive it at that point, kind of thing. Something in that range, I feel like, would be very well balanced in the meta.
Mhm.
Give it the ability to take the hit that it really doesn't want to if you fully invest in taking that hit. On to other new Pokemon though, because they did put quite a bit of new information in the End of the World's stream broadcast as well. We have all old starter Pokemon returning in DLC. It looks like it's returning in DLC Part 2. Based off of the images they showed, it looks like they are in the terrarium. And I can't 100% say for sure that they showed every single old generation, but I saw like 6 or 7 different generation starters. And we already have multiple other generations existing, like Charizard in some manner. So it's pretty obvious to assume that, if we already have Charizard, we're going to get Squirtle, we're going to get Bulbasaur.
Venusaur right now, right here in my
Oh,
hand.
thick
Give me
fat.
Venusaur.
Give me Venusaur with its mega hidden ability, please.
Give me Venusaur. With chlorophyll even.
I mean, yeah,
Please.
Chlorophyll Venusaur is phenomenal. Venusaur is a great Pokemon. I love Venusaur so much. I miss it, honestly. I really miss Sword Shield Venusaur. Like, Venusaur, D-Max,
I
with
used it
Torkoal and
every
DD.
single game just about.
Torkoal, Indeedee, Venusaur, and Alakazam was a core that I used for a very long time. Mostly the exact same core as, putting a Hatterene in there, but I used Alakazam for a higher speed tier with the Expanding Force. A little bit, effectively the exact same damage as Hatterene at 135 base versus 136. Whoop-de-doo. But it was a very fun core, and I'm really looking forward to being able to run that again coming down the line. But we also have Ninetales coming back, in terms of weather setters. I believe Politoed has been shown as well.
Yeah, Politoed will change the game.
And what I'm excited for with Ninetales is not the Cantonian version. I am very excited for a Alolan Ninetales. Give me back my Ice Fairy that is super fast and can dazzle Blizzard.
Can definitely change up the meta right
now. Please.
Give Articuno a better Aurora Veil, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody else has said it.
Anything else to set Aurora Veil that's not Abomasnow. And there are a couple of niche pick options that could set up Aurora Veil, but none that are as good as Alolan Ninetales at doing exactly that. So, a Ninetales, looking forward to that coming back, because if Cantonian Ninetales is in, Alolan Ninetales is in. We know that for sure. All other starters, though, including Incineroar, he's coming back. They showed Lane,
I don't have a problem
for
with
sure.
that.
I'm so on the fence about it. I saw Wolfie tweet in outrage that Incineroar is coming back, and I get where he's coming from. I get it, but hopefully Terra's help to handle that Pokemon and its original dominance and help us to put it in its place a bit better. I feel like Terras are also going to help it survive, though, at the same time, which is just a bigger nuisance, Grass Terra Incineroar is going to be so hard to deal with. I can see it already.
I think the moment that Incineroar loses its Dark type, it's the moment that it's open to Prankster.
True.
And I think that that's going to be where Whimsicott wins.
That's true, because Whimsicott also gets access to Taunt and the Tailwind and everything else.
And Encore.
Yeah. Prankster
and
Encore
Incineroar is not doing damage just this generation at all.
No, it won't hold damage out.
It's not Okoing anything. Sorry, you must be Hisuian Arcanine good.
Especially in terms of a meta that has Armarouge and Heatran running around it still too, as well as Arcanine in some fashions running Flash Fire sometimes.
On top of this, we have 2 new Mons that both block priority.
And 2 great Mons that are very good at handling and setting rain.
I guess, excuse me, 1 new Mon for a draft.
Yeah.
Serena's been here for a bit.
But both of them are available, as well as Bruxish. All 3 of the Pokemon that actually have priority blocking abilities in the game are available in this generation too.
I think that's going to be a big key point, and I think a big part about what's going to really stop it from being as good as it can be is that it doesn't have access to priority.
Yeah, outside of Fake Out.
Yeah, and it can still pivot with the parting shots.
I think the slow parting shot is its biggest tool coming into this generation. Slow parting shot is definitely the most valuable thing that Incineroar offers to a team right now.
Yep.
If you want offense from Fire Dark type, just run Chi-Yu.
Yes.
Chi-Yu is just 160% better at all of that. Just so much better. But anyway, other new information on the subject of priority moves, like we were just discussing, they gave us news of a brand new priority move. Well, actually, a couple of brand new priority moves, but we'll start off with the new moves by themselves. So these are going to be a couple of, I think, I assume move tutor moves, considering that they showed a Hariyama using upper hand, which, oh, this move is going to change the metagame almost as dominantly as Grassy Glide did.
This thing is as good as Grassy Glide.
Absolutely.
Power, right?
Even if it's like a base 20 power move, this move will be so important.
I think Tyranitar's days are gone now.
You know, I don't think so. Not from upper hand, at least. And so here's what upper hand does is it's a priority move fake out, basically. So if your opponent is using a priority move, upper hand will go first and they will flinch. 100% of the time, they will flinch.
Oh.
But it only works on priority moves. It will fail on anything else.
I thought it worked on everything. My bad. I must have misread it.
Yeah, so because it's only on the priority moves,
yeah,
I think
and it doesn't get any priority because it doesn't have pursuit anymore.
So what upper hand is probably going to be is it's probably going to be a very low damage move, you know? And
so it would have to be priority 4.
Yeah, it has to be a higher priority level than fake out.
Only
even.
fake out.
I hope
fake out's the fastest priority that move that does damage.
Mm-hmm. And I hope that it's able to outspeed fake out. That would be incredible. I very much would like that. You know, in the trailer they showed it
really
going against a Caesar.
Fake out.
They showed it going against a Caesar with Bullet Punch, I assume, you know.
I assume if Hariyama gets it, then that means that Iron Hands gets it.
Yep, I am assuming the same. I assume it's probably a fighting type, just move tutor move that will be accessible to almost all fighting moves.
And if it fakes out a fake out user, and it's a fighting type, Incineroar stocks are going down.
That'll be super effective as well. So, yeah, I think this move is incredible.
Is it a priority damaging move?
Specifically, I was also just actually looking that up. Specifically, it says if the target was trying to use a priority move, it does not specify priority
are going way down now. Yeah, if you're a prankster and your name isn't Sableye.
So this is the easiest way to stop like prankster, taunt, and everything else.
I hate this. Genie stocks are gonna go up though because genies they're gonna resist it though. They don't need to.
I mean, they won't need to, but they also won't be able to do anything because I don't think this move is locked the same way that Fake Out is to turn 1. It's only locked to priority moves. If you're only using priority moves on the genies, then theoretically you will literally never be able to get an attack off. Or a move off, at least, against upper hand.
I hate this so much.
I mean, Terra Ghost.
Somebody's gonna have the upper hand every time.
But Terra Ghost on genies, and there you go, and you're already immune to it. You know, so that's kind of it. Kind of forces prankster Pokemon to use Terra Ghost, though. You know, and that's
like the moment they do anything without it.
But upper hand only prevents you from using priority moves, you know, and Terra Ghost only hits you when you use an attack. Or Sucker Punch, I mean, only hits you when you hit you.
I have a bad feeling that something's gonna get. I have a bad feeling Low Kicks is gonna get this move.
Oh, probably as a dark fighting type, yeah. Sucker Punch and upper hand with Technician, or no? Does it? It doesn't get Technician.
I think it's Bug Dark, but
oh, you're right. It knows Dark.
But it gets like Axe Kick and things like that. I'm pretty sure. So if it gets upper hand,
that would be interesting.
It can upper hand and Sucker Punch
and First Impression. Thing's a priority menace. It doesn't get access.
Thank goodness it doesn't have bulk.
Yeah, thank goodness it doesn't have stats in general.
But it can just kick. Wait, Inner Focus Dragonite can't be flinched.
That's where Inner Focus.
So we're just going back to Dragonite. We're just gonna go back to Dragonite. That's all it is. Okay, I got you.
But that's going to force Dragonites to be inner focus instead of letting them run multiscale. Because if they run multiscale, they just get shut down, banded Dragonite by upper hand. They get
I only run inner
completely shut
focus.
down. But what that means, though, is that means that the Dragonites are going to be a lot more weak to the Flutter Mane, which is obviously still dominant at, 70% usage on teams in Masters at Worlds. But for other new moves, they also brought in Psychic Noise, which Psychic Noise is basically a Psychic type attack that also does heal block. So it prevents opponents that are hit by the move from being able to heal for a few turns. Any forms of healing, so Pollen Puff, Citrus Berry, Leftovers, Strength Sap, you name it, no heals.
Lunar Blessing, Life Dew.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a really good counter to that. But specifically, the thing that I'm curious about based on the description is that it seems like it's a sound-based move. Meaning that Soundproof as an ability is one way to easily counter that.
So you must have Soundproof to use Leftovers.
I mean, it's an easy guaranteed solution at least, if nothing else. But yeah, they also gave us information on new moves and confirmed typing for Raging Bolt and Iron Crown.
And we're sorry for getting your hopes up on a water steel type.
It was too good to be true, thinking that they weren't going to have at least one type like consistent across.
We were really optimistic they would do something other than Psychic.
We were.
Well, now we're going to have to really wait on Move Pool to really see how it fares up against Metagross now.
True.
Because theoretically, if you want to clear body Metagross, you could just run Iron Crown with a clear amulet.
True. Yeah. And it also depends, obviously, on stat distribution. Based off of its new unique move, Tachyon Cutter, that they showed, which is a Steel-type move that hits twice, I'm assuming it's going to be a physical Pokemon. That move seems like a physical move, and therefore I am assuming that Iron Crown will be a physical attacker. Raging Bolt is also going to be a physical attacker, based on its new move. But its new move is way more fun. We're getting an electric type. We could get a
special there. We could do like a base 80 power electric type move.
I mean, it could be like a solid, almost great special attack, like a 125 attack, 115 special attack kind of distribution or something. That would be really cool, actually. But based on the fact that Thunderclap is a physical move, I kind of have to assume that the Raikou is going to be physical, but they've made new moves for Pokemon that don't line up with their stat distributions before. So, not as much recently, but hey, they've definitely done it. But yeah, they're giving us Electric-type Sucker Punch. I'm very excited.
I think it'll be good, except for Ursaluna exists,
Of course. Ursaluna, Landorus. I mean, it'll give Ground Terra a Rising Stakes as well in general. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's really cool that they're finally giving that concept to a different type. Sucker Punch since Gen 3 has only been a dark type move. They have not done anything like it for any other type the entire time since. 6 generations later, they're finally giving us a DLC move that's similar for something.
It might not be DLC, it might just be a raid.
True. I don't know that they're going to be giving us either of these Pokemon within the next month, though. At which point they'd at least be in DLC 1 at the earliest, because we are a month away currently from.
Well, what I'm saying is they might not put a price lock behind these raids.
Oh, on terms of owning the DLC. Gotcha. That's fair. It may not be specific to having the DLC. Yeah, I have to agree there for sure. It does seem, considering that they made the Terra raids for the previous two. Completely blanking. Iron Leaves and Walking Wake. There we go. Because they did make those Terra raids, it is a pretty safe assumption, I think, to assume that they're going to make Terra raids for these two. Yeah, I agree with that. Raging Bolt, by the way, if it wasn't obvious, is a electric dragon type. I feel like that was pretty straightforward and a very clear and easy guess. But
I wonder what Entei could be.
I don't know. It's going to be a fire dragon.
It's going to be a Triceratops.
Fire dragon Triceratops. Yeah, no, I fully believe that image. I saw the leak and I was like, yep, that's exactly what we're getting. I'm honestly excited for those. It's going to be pretty cool. That about does it on new Pokemon coverage, though. They did reveal one other new detail correlating not only to Terrapagos. Now, confirmed, this does actually affect more than just Terrapagos. There is a 19th Terra type coming.
No.
It appears...
Terracats were so hard to deal with as it was.
I agree. And this appears to be, based off of the images shown, a all types Terra type. So it's going to be basically like all types all at once.
It better be normal type, like nothing is super effective.
That's what I'm hoping it is.
But like, if it makes everything a resistance, that's too good.
Yeah, if it resists everything, I hope if it resists everything, it's only like a 25% resistance. Like it takes 75% damage from everything or something instead of 50.
I still think that that's ridiculous.
I absolutely agree, don't get me wrong. But if they're going to make it a resistance-based Terra, at least give it that.
Yeah.
However, they did also show on the official website, their article about it shows a Baxcalibur terastallizing into that Terra and knowing Terra Blast, which leads me to believe that it will not be a defensive Terra as much as an offensive Terra. I'm curious how it's going to match up. My guess is what it might do is it might specifically be super effective to other Terras. And that may be the gimmick to that 19th type Terra Blast. It may be a counter Terra Terra Blast instead of a type specifically. So it's neutral damage.
But you have to buy the DLC to be able to get the new Terra Orb for.
Probably. But at least it's not 2 parts full cost DLC. You know, you're not buying an entire additional title like Sword and Shield.
Until they change the price on release.
They can't. Too many people have already pre-ordered, kind of thing. You can't change a price on something that's been open for pre-order for that long. Everybody's going to go out and upgrade
afterwards.
Nah, they'd lose way too much face trying to pull a stunt like that at this point, you know?
Okay.
Only a month away from the release, too. It's one thing if they do it like a week after they announce the original price. They say, oh, hey, just kidding, sorry. This is actually a lot more expensive to make than we thought it was. We're going to have to make you pay more. I mean, that's a poor business decision in the first place. But you can execute it as a game studio and a game company. You can pull that, you know? But we have 30 days left. 31, I guess. Until Part 1 DLC.
Yeah, which is on my birthday.
Which is fantastic. I think the release date for that is just absolutely phenomenal. It's an absolute birthday present to you from the Pokemon Company. So, we're saying, Bambi, we like you. Don't be too mad.
Bambi, all that money you've spent on our games your entire life. Right. And all those Pokemon cards you put through the washer and bought new ones for.
Oof.
Is not in vain. All those first generation Pokemon cards you lost to the washer and dryer are not in vain, Bambi. Just stick around and keep on playing VGC. You'll get Metagross eventually, but not on your birthday.
Metagross is coming though. It's coming. I'm already starting to team build around Metagross.
I'm already
For
starting to
regulation
build around
E
Metagross
or
too.
F actually is obviously what that's going to be at least, because
Regulation
we're going to
F.
have another regulation with DLC 1, obviously. And I'm really hoping we get Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, Iron Valiant, or not Iron Valiant, Iron Leaves, and Walking Wake in regulation E. That would be the best adjustment, if you ask me. Please give me Sun Stab Water. Sun Boosted Stab Water.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I like Sun teams, and I want to make a Sun team that actually does water damage too. Thanks, Walking Wake, for existing. But that's neither here nor there.
We're going to need a double restricted format for that to happen.
I don't know that they're restricted, though. They're not any better statistically than Iron Valiant and Roaring Moon.
I think they're coded in the same way.
They don't have dex entries, for one thing, currently. So that's clearly why they're not available at the moment. They still don't have a dex entry in the game. And I'm hoping that they aren't coded as restricted, at least. Only time will tell. Obviously, we don't know that yet. But it would be unusual for the Pokemon Company to have a new trio that's restricted. They don't generally restrict the trios or whatnot. Even though this is 2 new trios, I guess, technically as well. 6 new Pokemon, too. Jeez. Yeah, they really upped the ante with the paradox concept. Yeah. Tons of new Pokemon. It's going to be wild. Absolutely incredible.
Give me Whimsicott or give me Death.
Whimsicott's coming. I don't know if it's going to be DLC 1 or DLC 2, but it's definitely coming.
I want it in DLC 1 for my birthday. I want to get Whimsicott on my birthday. If there's one thing, Pokemon, please give me Whimsicott for my birthday. That would be so great. Thank you.
If it's available on your birthday, I'll breed you a shiny.
Yay!
0 attack, I assume, right?
Oh, yes.
Of course. Then everything else can be maxed, because that's the only stat it doesn't want.
No, and I'm going to be going on a catching spree. I'm barely going to be playing the game. I'm just going to be going around catching Pokemon, trying to get a shiny with a birthday mark.
I actually have really been hoping to go back and adjust my date. I really don't like the concept of doing that normally. Changing the date on my device to get my birthday mark Pokemon. But my birthday was the day that I was traveling down to Portland for Portland Regionals. I had 0 time to hunt anything on my birthday. I had no time at all.
You're going to have this game for the rest of your life, girl. Just do it next year.
But, if next year we're starting to already phase out of Scarlet Violet meta towards... And, we won't be phasing out yet, but we're going to be approaching the end of Scarlet Violet, probably towards whatever their next title will be, more than likely releasing next fall. 2024 fall, winter, roughly. Probably November, holiday season. Pretty consistent.
I think we'll get another year of Scarlet and Violet after next year, but that's just me.
I'd be honestly very okay with that. That means that they're putting more time into investing in creating a really quality title, and I'm okay playing a title that exists already for a little while longer. To make the next one more refined, more fine-tuned, to not have shinies potentially spawning in walls. Because my shiny Fluttermane that I use was a wall spawn. It just turned right on the edge of the wall, and I saw the green, and I was like, whew.
Fix open world before you come out with a new open world game, or just get rid of open world. I'm okay with getting rid of open world for less bugs.
I'm okay with going back to the Legends Arceus open world style, where it was open explorable world, but all of the spawns were predetermined to save that massive amount of system draw and CPU usage and everything. So
I think so.
If that's what it has to be, do that. That worked. That created an enjoyable experience for players. Yes, it was a
Yeah.
little bit exploitable, but it was very enjoyable. Either way, that's going to be about it from us here today. Head on down into the description and join our Discord. We're looking to just get more conversation going. Love having people joining, chatting. We had a watch party for the Worlds stream in the Discord. It's a shame you weren't a part of the Discord to be there for it, because it was a great time.
And while you're down there, don't forget to check out the link to our Patreon too if you're interested in that.
Currently not much spare content going up there yet, but we do have plans in the works to capitalize on that and give you guys some
You could be the
specialty
first
stuff.
to get exclusive content that nobody else has seen.
Very first. You could be the very first, like no one was before.
Because that's what first means.
Indeed, indeed. But that is neither here nor there. Drop us a like on the video. Give us a subscription if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and checking it out. And we will catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.